I don't buy home gym equipment just because it's new. I buy it because it improves my training. Today we're going to review 3 attachments that have done exactly that. Each of these attachments has expanded what I can do in my Rep Areas 2.0, has made my workouts more enjoyable, and has improved the quality of my training every single week. At this point, I honestly couldn't imagine my setup without them, and I'm excited to show you what they are and why they've earned a permanent place in my home gym. Let's get to it. What's up guys, Chris here with Strength and Steel Reviews. I'm a father, a personal trainer, and yeah, a home gym equipment reviewer. And today, I want to show you 3 power rack attachments that have genuinely changed the way that I train. Now, when most people think about upgrading their home gym, they immediately think about buying another machine. Maybe it's a beautiful monstrosity like the Quad Send, a multifunctional piece like the Hyper Pro, or just another cable attachment, of which I clearly have plenty. And judging by the amount of B-roll that I have sitting in my archives and that I'm proudly displaying to you on screen, it's probably safe to say that I enjoy testing new equipment as much as anyone. So yeah, I get it, I am with you. But over the years, I've definitely come to realize something. Some of the biggest improvements to my training have not come from buying entirely new machines. They've come from making the equipment I already own dramatically more versatile. That's exactly what these 3 attachments have done for my Rep Areas 2.0. They've expanded my exercise options, they've made my workouts more enjoyable, and in a couple of cases have completely altered the way that I perform certain movements. If you're looking for ideas for your own power rack, as long as it has 1-inch holes, all of these should work. I will link them all below in the description if you want to take a look at them, but all right, let's get to attachment number 1. All right, the first attachment on our list is the Rep Fitness Pegasus Seat. Now, before this, I actually owned the GetRx leg roller. I bought it together with this center post from GetRx, which I'm using with the Pegasus Seat. And at first, the leg roller, I thought it was great, but over time, I truly came to resent it. Essentially, whenever I wanted to do lat pull downs, I'd have to drag my bench over, line everything up with the leg rollers, and then adjust the seat. And only then could I start my set. Now, if you spent any time in this channel, you know I value convenience above all else. I want a minimal setup with pretty much everything all the time. And the GetRx leg roller just did not fit into that philosophy. And sorry to GetRx if I got the name wrong, here's a screenshot. But yeah, eventually I decided that I could not stand it. I sold the damn thing, and yeah, here we are with the Pegasus Seat. And honestly, I do not see myself going back. Why? Well, for one, I can just walk over to the Pegasus Seat, plop my butt down, and begin training. That's probably the biggest reason. Second would be that it's genuinely comfortable. You're sitting on it every set and often between sets. So here, that is something that actually matters, and Rep did a great job with the padding, the rollers, with everything. It is finely crafted. Third, it's ridiculously adjustable. Honestly, I know that I'm underutilizing it in dramatic fashion. You can change the height, the angle, and you can use it for all different kinds of movements. Personally, I'm just using it for lat pull downs, but there's a lot more that you can do with the Pegasus Seat if you have an open mind, which I clearly don't. That said, it is not perfect. The Pegasus Seat is pretty heavy. And yes, I do have to remove it whenever I perform seated cable rows from the floor. But honestly, that has not bothered me nearly as much as I feared that it might. Essentially, I just don't tighten everything down. I simply slide the seat off of the center post, set it on the floor beside me, do my rows, and then slide it right back on when I'm finished. Since I'm only doing seated cable rows once a week anyway, it is not something that I'm going to sit here and whine about. Overall, it's made my training more efficient and more enjoyable, and that's really why the attachment made this list today. It is an innovative piece, but it's not exactly revolutionary. It's essentially a fancy seat. But this fancy seat removes friction from one of my favorite exercises. And because of that, I find myself doing more lat pull downs, experimenting with different cable attachments, and honestly, like I said, enjoying the exercise more. And that matters to me. That's the mark of a great piece of equipment. It doesn't just add another exercise to my arsenal of exercises. It makes me want to train. Yeah, honestly, I love it. But let's move on to attachment number 2. This one is a little less obvious, but I honestly think is one of the most underrated upgrades that you can make to a power rack. Okay, attachment number 2 is the Rep Fitness pull-up bar extension. Now this one probably isn't going to grab headlines the way some other rack attachments do. It's simple, it doesn't have moving parts, and yet I use it almost every single day, which is exactly why it made this list. Now, what do I love about this thing? Well, I love the added clearance. Because the pull-up bar extends away from the rack, I have far more room for hanging leg raises and really for any movement where I'm hanging beneath the bar. I don't feel cramped inside the rack anymore, and that extra space makes a surprisingly big difference for me. In my previous home gym back in North Carolina, I had a rep standard powder-coated pull-up bar mounted within, as in inside, my Athena rack. It worked perfectly well, but I always found the uprights on either side to be a little distracting, and I never felt like I had the kind of freedom that I truly wanted, especially when I was doing dead hangs and core work. This pull-up bar extension completely changed that. Now I'm hanging out in front of the rack rather than inside of the rack, and it just feels better. It feels more open, more natural. It's one of those small changes that does not seem like it should matter very much until you actually experience it. But yeah, for me, it certainly does. Another small adjustment that I've made here is that I have a raw steel pull-up bar. In other words, I do not have a powder coat on my pull-up bar. Now, I know this is somewhat of a risk. I live in Florida, there is humidity, and it may rust, but thus far, I have not had any issues, and if I do, I will certainly let you know. For me, this risk feels worthwhile. I do a lot of pull-ups, and I'm often doing dead hangs between sets, and because the grip on this bar is so fantastic, I find myself drawn to it more than ever before. My shoulders feel better, my back feels better, and of course, I'm having fun using it. If it does become an issue, I can always replace it with a powder-coated pull-up bar, but right now, for me, this feels like the move. Okay, the third and final attachment is the Rep Fitness Smith machine attachment. I'll be honest, I never dreamed of owning a Smith machine. I'd used plenty of them over the years at commercial gyms, but I never once found myself thinking, man, I wish I had one of these in my own garage. I didn't even think it was possible until I started seeing reviews, and most of those reviews were pretty mid overall. And then this came out, I saw the reviews, I bought it, I installed it, and honestly now, I could not imagine being without it. The first thing that stands out about it is how incredibly smooth it is. I know reviewers throw that word around all the time, buttery smooth, silky smooth, but in this case, it is completely justified. The bar glides effortlessly from top to bottom. The range of motion is remarkable, and in my opinion, it feels every bit as good as any of the commercial Smith machines that I've used over the years. And trust me, I've used a lot. I also really like the knurling on the bar. It feels fantastic. It's not too aggressive, and it's not too passive. If I had one complaint, it would simply be that I wish the bar itself were a little thinner in diameter, but that's honestly about it. You'll also notice that I've mounted the Smith machine all the way towards the front of the rack. Now, I did that intentionally because I do not care about preserving the cage. I don't use it for anything other than lat pull downs, and now for exercises with my Smith machine attachment. I use this often for shoulder pressing, and I'm using it for squatting, and no, it does not interfere with the Pegasus seat at all, especially where I have it positioned, and I've even begun using it for bench pressing. For me, with my setup, everything coexists surprisingly well, and that's one of the reasons why I've kept this exact configuration. It is not necessarily how everyone should set up their rack, but it suits the way that I train, and ultimately that's what matters most. Because we all have our own training style and our own preferences, and these are mine. I use this every single day. I don't rely on it for every compound lift. I still enjoy free weights, and I don't think one replaces the other, but there is something incredibly reassuring about knowing that if I do decide to push a set all the way to failure, nothing bad is going to happen. I don't have to worry about getting pinned beneath the barbell. I can focus entirely on the lift itself. I can slow down the eccentric movement, squeeze out one more rep, really concentrate on the muscle that I'm trying to train, and that peace of mind has genuinely improved the quality of my workouts. Now, I know the price is kind of intimidating. When I first saw it, I was intimidated too. I thought it was overpriced, but after using it for months, I don't think that it is. I think it's worth every penny. Hot take. I love it. I couldn't imagine being without it. It's not going anywhere, and that's about the highest compliment that I can give any piece of equipment. All right, guys, those are my 3 favorite power rack attachments and the 3 that have genuinely changed my training for the better. At the end of the day, none of these have transformed my training overnight. They simply removed friction, made certain exercises more enjoyable, and ultimately made me want to train more often, which to me is exactly what any great piece of home gym equipment should do. Oh, and if you're a father looking to build muscle, lose fat, and become more consistent with the equipment that you already own, I've put together a free, yes, free, dad rebuild blueprint that walks you through the exact principles that I use to train and coach my clients. If that sounds like something you would benefit from, you can download it using the link in the description below. Again, it is totally free. Otherwise, if you enjoyed the video, I'd really appreciate it if you gave it a like and let me know in the comments to support the almighty and mysterious YouTube algorithm, and let me know what rack attachments I should check out that are not on this list. And yeah, let me know. I'm always open to new ideas, so bring them on. And yeah, you guys know the deal. You stay strong, you stay steely, and I'll catch you in the next one. Adios.